Our story starts here, at the corner of Apache and North Rockford, at the Chicken Hut restaurant. A 27-year-old man was shot while waiting to order food from this takeout window. It was 3 a.m. on a Sunday. Valentino Werner died later from his wounds, and police haven't made any arrests yet, because no witnesses have come forward. The odd thing, though, about this whole deal is that 100 people saw this happen.
That was a very chaotic scene.
The place was packed, and when police questioned witnesses, nobody saw a thing. The paramedics arrived. Valentino was laying on the ground near the takeout window, still alive.
And there were people standing in blood, standing over him, still getting their food. Very frustrating. I mean, you know, we're trying to help someone who was critically injured, and ultimately it was a mortal injury. I mean, it's like there was a lack of regard for another human being's life. I mean, I don't know any other way to put that.
Of the 100 people in the parking lot that night, there was one 911 call, the victim's sister. Today, our story attempts to explain how this happens. How do 100 people see a murder, say to themselves, "This has nothing to do with me," and go on ordering their chicken? It has roots in what North Tulsa's community leaders have called the no-snitch culture. The idea that you don't get involved, you don't talk to cops, no matter what. Because if you do, you're a snitch, or you're guilty by association. And retaliation is a real possibility.
I guess the no-snitch culture it's what I've observed is, for example, the Chicken Hut homicide last 2 weeks ago, everyone there, or more than enough people, saw what happened. They probably know who did it by name or by nickname, and they probably know where they live, and probably know way more about it than we'll ever know. But I would think that they're afraid, or what I've heard in the past is that a good suspect or a good witness would say, "I'm afraid to talk to you because, you know what, someone's going to find out, they're going to come back and kill me, or they're going to come back and get me. I just don't want to be involved." So that's usually the story we'll get, is they don't want to be involved because they don't want to get hurt. They don't want their family to get hurt or their house shot up.
Again, it don't make it right, but I do understand why they had that fear. And it's easy for somebody who, maybe live out in South Tulsa where, you ain't got to worry about somebody shooting your house up to say, how come they don't talk? Because it's not a threat to you. But if you live right here in the midst of it, where, every other week, or every night you're hearing shootings and shot fired and things like that, it's a realistic possibility it could happen to you. So I understand.
Does it really happen?
The retaliation? Yes. Like, somebody killing somebody, that do need to be reported. Like, that's something that do need to be reported, but ain't nobody gonna step up and report it.
I think it's just people that were there, but they're just scared. I don't think it's a matter of snitching. I think they're just scared to come forward because they see all the violence as far as shooting and, people getting robbed and stuff like that. So,
but I guess to be labeled a snitch is, could be deadly for some people. Could be harmful to some people. It just depends on how far, the suspect knows who did it, and they're going to retaliate against them. It could be, like I said, it could be deadly or harmful for them, depending on who it is.
And how bad is that?
That's pretty bad. Because ain't nobody trusts you if you're a snitch. Because, if it was me, I probably would just stay to myself. Because that's something bad. I ain't trying to see nobody die or nothing. So I'd probably just get out of there as fast as I could.
But people do talk, and people will talk. We have to understand, we will never solve any crime if nobody talked. People always talk. Eventually. It may not happen that day, but it will happen.
Eventually, someone leaves an anonymous tip on a police hotline, and sometimes police can then arrest the suspect. But it doesn't always work out like that. Jason Trent's 18-year-old son, Jason Trent III, was fatally shot when he answered the door to a friend's house. Witnesses were everywhere. Now, a year later, no arrests have been made, even though Trent says he can identify his son's killer by name.
There were over 20 some odd people in that house that night. One man seen all three of the young men running down the street after they had killed my son. Then 2 days later, he didn't see nothing. The no-snitch mentality, that's bunk. It's that I'm a coward, you know. It's some suspicious people walking around in our neighborhood. I'm picking up the phone. We had an empty house for a long time across the street, and they wanted to start using that as a place to smoke crack. And I was like, oh, hell no. Because I saw, you know, you see lighters flicking at night and stuff. No, you're not going to do that in my neighborhood. And me and my baseball bat, we walked across the street. You're going to move that on around out of this neighborhood. So my wife said, I know our neighbors think you just as crazy. I said, they thinking in peace and quiet, too. Somebody in North Tulsa has got to stand up and say enough is enough. You know, somebody out here has got to take the lead and say, hey, I'm going to be the person that say, you know, let's end this snitching, this no-snitch culture. Let's be a man, let's be a woman and stand up and say what we know.
The snitch law, if you will, it's definitely, you know, here. And, you know, it's something that we have to get past when we have to go into investigations and homicides.
Another fact that illustrates how prevalent the no-snitch mentality is in Tulsa is whoever killed Valentino Werner felt confident enough to do it in front of an audience of 100 people and get away with it.